All right, awesome people. Thank you for joining. So I got some exciting news, guys. If this is the very first time that you have seen this opportunity through iHub, through Helium, I promise you by the end of the call, we're going to be best friends. If you're an iHub OG and you've been in the game a while, you might have already ordered your miners. Maybe you even already have miners. I'm still going to be your best friend because I got some pretty exciting news to share with you. So before I get started, I like to get an idea of who I'm talking to, right? I don't want to leave anybody behind. So in the chat, and I don't like feeling like I'm talking to a wall, so I like doing this thing. In the chat, put a 1 if you're familiar with crypto, you know what crypto is, and put a 0 if you say, hey, Mitchell, I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I've heard of Bitcoin, but I'm not familiar with crypto. Could you explain what crypto is to me so I can get an idea? I don't want to leave anybody behind. All right, so I'm getting lots of 1s. Good. Okay, so I'm seeing mostly 1s. In case there's someone out there who just doesn't want to put the 0 in there, I'm going to touch on it just super briefly, and then we're going to move on. So what is cryptocurrency? There's hundreds of different different currencies, right? We got the German mark, we got the Mexican peso, we got the Canadian dollar, the US dollar. Just like there's tons of different currencies out there, there's tons of different cryptocurrencies as well. Now, the best way to think about it is cryptocurrency is kind of like a stock. Most of us have purchased stocks and sold stocks before on the exchange, right? Now, when you do that, say you purchase a stock of Apple, you don't get a tangible stock necessarily that you can hold in your hand when you make that purchase. It's on the exchange. And as long as the exchange is open, you can buy that stock, you can sell that stock, you can sell it and buy a different stock. There's lots of options there. You can hold it and let it go up in value and then sell it. But you don't get a tangible stock to hold in your hand. Same thing with crypto, right? You can purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP on all the exchanges. Now, the cool thing about the crypto exchange, 24/7, 365. So 2 a.m. on Christmas, you can purchase H&T, and if it shoots up a few bucks, you can sell it at 3 a.m. and make a profit, right? The stock market has times when it's open and closed. The crypto market stays open 24/7, 365. So just like when you purchase a stock, when you purchase a crypto, there's nothing tangible, but it's on the exchange. You can buy, sell, trade at any point. Now, the particular cryptocurrency we're going to talk about tonight is called HNT. Now, HNT is currently on the exchange right now. It is already on the exchange. It isn't some crypto we're hoping to go to the exchange. It's a well-established crypto currently being bought and sold for roughly about $15 per coin. Now, HNT is produced by a company called Helium. Who is Helium? What is Helium? What is it they do? Helium is a network company. So obviously everyone here has heard of Sprint, Verizon, AT&T. Helium is a network company that provides network coverage, but instead of providing network coverage for your cell phone so that you can send and receive data, make phone calls, they're providing network coverage for IoT devices, which stands for Internet of Things. Which is essentially pretty much anything that can connect to the internet. There's over 80 million different IoT devices, everything from dog smart collars to those Lime scooters you see in bigger cities, agricultural equipment, medical equipment. Me personally, I have a smart collar on my dog. I have a Great Pyrenees. He likes to run away. And when he leaves our house, the collar starts to track him via GPS. But it's horrible, right? It's like within 600 feet of this location. Now, in a small neighborhood, 600 feet could be behind 15 different houses. So the accuracy of the collar is horrible. But if he gets next to one of our miners, next to our towers, it will actually connect to the IoT network, and it will give me pinpoint accuracy. It will say he's within 1 foot of this location and gives me pinpoint accuracy. So that's just an example that I can speak of personally of something that uses the IoT network. Now, the awesome thing about the Helium network, so as you can imagine, if Sprint needed service in your area, say that they found out that you had 4 or 5 acres and they need service in your area, Sprint might approach you and they might say, excuse me, John, Ben, Jonathan, hey, we see you have 3 acres here. We need service in your area. If you allow us, Sprint, to put our tower on your property, we'll pay you $2,500 a month for the next 25 years. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of that, if you know that's how they grow their network. Have you guys heard of that before? Sprint, Verizon, when they need to get network coverage in their area, right? They'll reach out to people in the area that have property, and they'll actually pay them a residual to allow them to put the tower on the property. So we're getting lots of ones. Okay. So, and the reason I'm familiar with that exact number, 2,500 for 25 years, happened to a good friend of mine just 30 minutes from here in Denellen, Florida. They own about 40 acres. Sprint approached them and they said, hey, if you let us put our tower on your property, we'll pay you for the next 25 years, completely passive residual income. And they did it. So pretty exciting opportunity, but most of us aren't getting that opportunity, right? Excuse me. So that's what the Helium network is doing. That's how they're growing their network. The same way Sprint and Verizon does, they're doing it. So the Helium network says, hey, if you allow us to put our tower on your property in your house, we're going to pay you X amount of money in our currency, in our crypto, every single month for as long as you leave it plugged in. Pretty awesome opportunity, right? So the three things that come up when I tell people about this opportunity, they say, okay, well, how big is the tower? Am I going to have to put this massive cellular tower? I live on a little lot in the middle of the city. I don't have enough room for a massive tower. How big is the tower? The most exciting thing, how much can I make, right? How much money is this going to bring in residually passive? How much is it going to make? And third, how much is it going to cost me? Is there a cost to me? How much is this tower? Do I have to purchase it? So on and so forth. So I'm going to touch base on all those. First, I'm going to talk about the tower. And I got one right here. This is the tower, the massive tower. Now, the exciting thing about this, it doesn't produce any heat. It doesn't make any noise. And it only draws about 5 watts worth of electricity a year. So we're talking about $5 to $8 a year to run this device. All right. A massive difference between mining Bitcoin and producing helium, right? If we're mining Bitcoin, we're using a ton of power. We're using supercomputers in order to figure out a crazy mathematical equation so that we can get a fraction of a Bitcoin from the blockchain. All right. This isn't mining. They're actually paying us to provide network coverage with this device right here. So half the time you plug it in, you forget about it. The exciting thing, there is no maintenance, guys. There's no monthly fee you have to pay. You get the tower one time, you plug it in, and you forget about it, and it produces monthly residual income every single month, completely passive without you even realizing it. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about how much we can actually make with this. Okay, guys, give me another one in the chat. I'll give you $1,000 for that, Mitchell. You know what? If I had $1,000 for every time I heard that, I'd be filthy rich, John. But all right, guys, give me a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, we can see the coverage map. Okay, who here, and I'm sure it's everybody, right, has seen a coverage map of Sprint, Verizon, AT&T? Everybody's seen those coverage maps where they can see all the different maps or all the different towers on the map. This is very similar to that, right? So all these green dots are all the individual towers. What I love about this is the transparency. Now, who here, maybe I'm the only one that fell prey to this, but who here can say that they were told one thing and it ended up being something different in business, right? You were told, hey, you can make X amount of money, or I make an X amount of money, and you were told something and come to find out it was a lie. It was completely different than what you were told, and things weren't transparent. Has that ever happened to anyone else? So what I love about the Helium network is the transparency. So this coverage map right here shows every single tower in the world. When I first started with iHub, there was about 20,000 towers, and that was about a month and a half ago, coming up on 2 months. We now have 55,333 towers. And I mean, that's growing daily. Did you guys just see what I did? I refreshed my screen and it went from 55,000, it went to 55,364. I mean, we have towers coming on every few minutes, right? Now, what I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you exactly what these towers are producing in full transparency. So the first one I'm going to look at, we're going to zoom in here to Florida. I'm in Ocala, Florida. And we're going to click on my miner, which is right here. No, right here. Formal cloth turtle. Now, I promise you guys I didn't name this, okay? So when you purchase your miner, the company assigns these crazy names to them. So we're going to click on my miner, and then we're going to click View Hotspot Details. We'll scroll down and click Rewards, and you'll see that my miner has produced in the last 30 days 65 HNT. Now, the current value of HNT is roughly $15. This miner's produced $975 in the last 30 days. Pretty incredible. So I would like to show you that, guys, because this is, as you can see on this miner here, see how it's connecting with just 2 other miners? Now, what I like to tell people, geographically speaking, it does not matter. You could literally have your miners plugged into the middle of the Sahara Desert with no other people around for hundreds of miles. As long as you have electricity and internet, if you plug these miners in and they communicate, you will still generate passive income every single month, and a lot of it. What matters is if there's other towers around. So this tower right here is actually Michael Coles. He's on the call tonight. And we just started connecting with each other, but neither one of these towers are what's called the sweet spot. They're not in my sweet spot. And I'm going to show you what that means here in a minute, but they are communicating with other towers, which boosts the productivity. Now, I'm going to give you another example. We're going to go look over here. One of the owners, Rick Cotton, owns 90% of these miners here. And if you scroll in, you can see how he's really built out the network. See how all these other miners are communicating with each other? It doesn't, Vero Beach isn't some crazy metropolis, right? It's not producing well because it's in a big city and it's being used. We're not getting paid. The network doesn't pay us for data transfer, for people using it. It pays us for proof of coverage, right? So when the network sees something like this laid out, where a lot of people, where a lot of towers are communicating, then the network is going to reward that individual with more coin. So we scroll down and click rewards. This particular miner is producing 283 coins a month, completely passive. Guys, that's $4,245 a month, completely passive, just by plugging in a miner. Pretty incredible. So ready for this? You can have as many as you want, right? We have people here on the call tonight who have purchased 25 of these. A lot of people on here has purchased 6 of these. So if you strategically place these, and if we go through here, let's click on another one here. So you know it wasn't just that one, right? We'll click rewards, 157. So 157 times the current value, 2,355. We'll do one more. Click on rewards, 90. So 90 times the current value of 450. So as you guys can see, when and I don't know how long this particular one's being on, it's saying it's being relayed. But as you can see, you build up your own network, 6 or 7. You don't have to tell a single soul about this opportunity, and you can hit the $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 a month pretty easily. Matter of fact, I like telling this story. Rick Cotton is one of the owners, and when I first heard about this opportunity, Rick told me in a corporate call that, and don't quote me on the exact number, but it was roughly, he was making $35,000 a month residually, completely passive from his miners, not from telling anybody else, but strictly from his miners. Well, to be honest, guys, the first thing that popped in my head is this guy's full of it, right? And so what I did was I found out about the coverage map, and I zoomed in on all his different miners. I did the math, I added it up, and come to find out he was about $5,000 off. He was making more than what he told us. So that's what I love about the transparency of this. No one can tell you anything that you can't get on here and prove yourself, which I think is pretty awesome. Okay, we're going to move on. And earlier in the call, I talked about the sweet spot and what that is. I'm going to touch base on that real quick. And then we're going to talk about the cost. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions, we'll take it from there. So helium.place is where we're going to go to see this. Now, give me another 1 in the chat, guys, if you're still there, if you're liking what you're seeing. If you like what you see so far, give me a 1, so I know that I'm doing okay, right? All right. So this is the where you determine the sweet spot. Now, this is my miner right here, formal cloth turtle. I typed in my address. I did this before we got on the call because my last call, my internet's running slow and it took me 15 minutes to pull this up for some reason. So you go to helium.place, you'll type in your address and you'll get this map and you'll see this red hexagon. And then you'll see that big green circle. So the red hexagon is the no witness zone. You don't want any other miners in that area. All right. Now, if you get your miner established, because this question comes up all the time, if you get your miner established and say your next door neighbor comes in and moves in next to you and puts one in, the Helium network is going to reward the established tower, right? So it's not necessarily going to hurt you right off the bat real bad, but if you're planning your network, if you're building out your network, you don't want to have more than one in that red zone. Wherever you place a miner, it's going to produce that red zone, right? That no witness zone. And then this green spot is what we call the sweet spot. If you guys see this little black dot right here, uneven sandstone shrimp, I installed that one just 2 days ago, and it synced up. And when you get them in that sweet spot, that's when you see a boost in productivity. The number I heard was 1,200% boost in productivity, which is a pretty incredible number. And the idea behind this is you want to build out as many as you can. The magic number of what they like putting out there is 6. If you can get 6 miners, you place your one at your office, your house, wherever, and then you place other 5 miners around there strategically in that green sweet spot. That's when you start seeing some pretty impressive numbers. And if you guys are interested and you want to reach out to me or reach out to the person who told you about this opportunity, and you guys want to, after you've signed up and you've ordered your miners, I have no problem getting on a call with you guys, and we'll strategically place these for you so that you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Now, I want to go into into some training. For me, because we have a lot of people on here who are already established, they already got their miners. If this is your first time, you're going to benefit from this as well. But sorry, I got some pop-ups here, guys. So if this is your first time, once you get established, you're going to benefit from this as well. But I want to go into some training just real briefly, because I've had this come up. How do I get miners in the sweet spot, right? I'm looking at the map here, and when I first pulled this up, I looked at the sweet spot and I said to myself, I don't know anyone in that area. I don't know anyone in that sweet spot. How am I going to get 5 other miners in that area? So I'm going to share with you what I did, and I think it will help you guys. Now, me personally, I think it's easier to walk into a business than to knock on someone's door at their house, right? So when I decided that in my head, I decided instead of putting my miner at my house, I'm going to put it in my office, because my office is downtown in Ocala, where I live, and it's in like a business district. Most everything around me in that green area is businesses. There's some houses, but it's mostly businesses. And for me, I thought that might be easier. But you can do it either way. So I place mine here, and I'm looking in the sweet spot, and I see right here where this dot is, there's a pawn shop. And I don't know this guy. His name is Mike Porter. He's an awesome guy. I just met him not too long ago. But when I walked in the front door, I had no idea who the guy was. I walked up to the cash register and I said, "Hey, is the owner available? May I speak with him?" And he said, "Sure. Hey, Mike." Mike comes walking up, and I said, "Hey, Mike, my name is Mitchell. I work for the Helium network." And I showed him the map, the coverage map on my phone. I said, "As you can see, we've already built out the Gainesville area. We're a network company just like Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, but instead of providing network coverage for cell phones, we provide network coverage for IoT devices." I said, "We've already built out the Gainesville area, and now we're working on Ocala." And then I scrolled down to Ocala, and I showed him my tower, which is in that red zone there. I said, "As you can see, there's a tower about 400 meters from you, and your address just so happens to land in this sweet spot, in this green zone where we need to place another tower. If you allow us, the Helium network, to place our tower in your business, we'll provide you 10% of whatever it produces. By the way, this tower doesn't produce any noise, it doesn't produce any heat, and it only costs about $5 to $6 a year to run it. Would you be interested in allowing us to plug it in? If for whatever reason you decide you don't want to do it, you give me a call and I'll come unplug it. No hard feelings." And you know what he said, guys? He said, this is exact words, I'm quoting, "I have no idea what the hell you just said, but if it's only going to cost me $5 or $6 and it could possibly make me money, go plug it in." Right? It's that easy. It really is that easy. And as you can see, we got one plugged in and up and running. And that's what I've been doing, just it all around your sweet spot. Driving, right? Driving for dollars is what a lot of the wholesalers like to say. Drive for dollars. Get out there, type in that address, get in that sweet spot and drive around. I guarantee you, when you tell someone about this opportunity, there's no contract to sign. I don't want your money, right? Just let me plug this little box in and I'll pay you every single month, right? I haven't had anyone tell me no yet. So it just takes getting out there, guys. If you're in a residential area, I'm going to touch base on this real quick. If you're in a residential area, Rick Cotton, one of the ways he built it out is he made flyers. I talked to him and I talked to a couple other people. They said, hey, I didn't want to talk to nobody. I don't feel comfortable knocking on someone's door and sitting there and talking to them. We're going to go old school, right? We're going to go back to flyers. What they did is they printed a bunch of flyers. They went door to door and put it on all their doors, talking about the opportunity. Just real quickly, we're at the Helium Network, blah, blah, blah. There's flyers in the back office. I'm not going to go through all that right now, but they printed out a flyer. And as soon as they got someone to call them on Northwest 4th Street, right, and said, hey, I'm interested, as soon as they got a miner locked in on that street, the next person that called in, they said, I'm sorry, the opportunity is no longer available. And then they waited for someone on Northwest 7th Street to call in. When they locked in that opportunity, I'm sorry, it's no longer available. So you can build this network out without really even having to talk to someone and potentially make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month residually, with no monthly fees or anything. It blows my mind, the incredible opportunity here. So can you share flyers? I would also like to post in my neighborhood. Yeah, Michael, if you are logged into iHub and you click on tools, there's flyers in there, different options you can pick from and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to wrap it up right there, guys, and open it up for some questions. Keep in mind, if you guys are not on the H&T Network Builders Facebook page, get on there. I'm releasing a ton of videos and content. I'm actually editing a video tonight. It probably won't get put up till tomorrow, but I'm going to show you guys how to generate leads. And I'm telling you guys, this process that I'm going through and generating leads is working so well that I shut it down because I can't keep up. I don't want to just generate a ton of leads and let them go to the wind. So I like to follow up with my leads, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to generate these leads passively to where you're getting so much that you get overwhelmed. All right. And get this, I'm going to share three ways to do it with you. 2 ways are going to be completely free, not cost you a penny. And 1 way will cost you $15 a month. Pretty incredible. So make sure you get joined in on the H&T Network Builders and you check out those different videos. So I'm going to open it up for questions here. Give me 1 second. Okay. If you can, go ahead and raise your hand here on the, thank you for posting that, Ben. Raise your hand on the chat here and we'll get some questions answered. Okay, Robert, go ahead and unmute yourself, buddy.
Yeah, you are sharing this with complete strangers then, right? And this thing costs about $500.
I'm sorry.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. So the miners are $500. I do got some exciting news for us here that I forgot to share. Currently, you can't purchase a miner. You can only reserve them. Now, I spoke with Chuck Hansen earlier today for about 40 minutes. And the exciting news is he said by the end of today, if not today, for sure tomorrow, they're locking in a purchase order for 18,000 miners. Now, when they do that, you're going to start being able to purchase them again on the site. They're currently $500 that covers shipping, taxes, everything. That's $500 even. And but right now, I strongly suggest you guys get in there and you reserve a miner. It's completely free to reserve a miner. When that purchase order gets locked in, they're going to be contacting you and taking your payment. Now, another question came up that they said, can we reserve more than 1 miner? Well, what Chuck explained to me is all you need to do is reserve 1 miner. When they contact you, they'll say, how many miners do you want? They just need you to get in there, reserve 1 miner so that they have your contact information so they know you're interested. And then they're going to reach out to you and they're going to ask you how many you want. But yes, they will be $500 per miner.
Okay, so now my question is, you are basically approaching strangers in your neighborhood. You're putting this thing for $500 in their house, what's to keep them from just walking off with it, and then you're out of that minor?
Well, a couple things. One, you don't have to approach complete strangers. You can put it in your friends and family's houses if you feel more comfortable. But this is the thing. If they walk off with this minor, literally the only thing they can do with it is scrap it and make 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever it may be worth as far as scrap metal. If they take it and they plug it in somewhere else and it goes online, it's tied to you. So when you purchase this, Robert, it's tied to your digital wallet. So any coins that gets produced from this miner, it goes to your wallet. So there's really not much they can do with it. And when they get paid every single month, I mean, there's really no way for them, or there's no reason for them to sabotage that. They're getting paid every 30 days.
Okay, good. One other question. How does this attach to the internet? Is it an Ethernet cable that plugs in, or?
Yeah, good question. So when you first purchase it and you get it in, I strongly suggest connecting it to Ethernet. At that pawn shop there, I didn't want to bother the guy because his internet modem was in the back. In a very secure area or whatever. And I didn't want to have to ask him to go back there and plug it into Ethernet. So I just hooked it up to Wi-Fi, and I figured it might take a little while to hook up, but it'll be worth it. I don't have to bug the guy. Well, 2 days go by and we're at 2%. So I'm like, man, it's going to take me a month and a half for this thing to connect. So I went back and I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but if you allow me to hook this up to Ethernet, we can be up and running in about 12 hours. Because when you first hook it up, it has to what's called sync up to the blockchain. So once it syncs to the blockchain, then you can unplug it from Ethernet, put it on Wi-Fi, and move it anywhere you want. That's the best way of doing it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Great presentation, by the way.
Thank you, Robert. Hey, Ben, what's up, brother?
Hey, you might have covered it at the beginning. I stepped away for a second, but maybe go over real quickly how safe these devices are. We already talked about the power and stuff, but some people are always like, how do I know it's not going to have this or that? Kind of go over how safe this is and the power of it.
Yeah. It's 915 megahertz RF. Guys, that was one of my number one concerns. Everyone's talking about the 5G thing, and honestly, call me crazy. I really don't want 5G in my house. When I first heard about this opportunity, I wanted to do a lot of research. I didn't want to plug in one of these things in my house where my babies sleep, and then a year from now find out that it produces cancer or something crazy, right? So I did a ton of research. I suggest you get on there and look at the 900 to the 915 megahertz RF. Very extremely safe range. Actually, cancer.org did an article on it. The transceiver in your car, the radio RF radio frequencies that are coming into your car so you can listen to your radio are 10 times stronger than this device. Matter of fact, when you place this device, it has to be on a windowsill next to a window without a bug screen or anything, because if you got a bug screen in there, or if this is in an interior room, it's not going to do anything because it's not putting out a lot of power. Not only is 915 megahertz RF a very safe frequency, but guys, you got to keep in mind that we're only pulling 5 watts of electricity also. So this thing isn't packing a hard punch at all. It's very, very weak and very, very safe. Good point, Ben. Bill.
I'm going to do another question. Also talk a little bit about the antennas we've identified, because my group, have identified people that live in high-rise condos, a certain antenna. We don't have to get into specifics, guys. We can give you a PDF, and the company has antennas, but there's a window antenna that will maximize and get you a further reach, as well as there's an antenna you could put on your residential property or business property, where I have a roofer when we get our box, going to install it on our roof. But kind of talk a little bit about the antennas a little bit.
Yeah, so antennas are important, guys. They're not necessary, but they are important. So each miner comes with a stock antenna, just like this. And I can tell you, I placed an order for some antennas. They haven't came in yet, but Michael Cole was generous enough to let me borrow one of his. And I saw a massive boost in coins when I hooked up an antenna. I mean, I would safe to say 35–40%, which is a good chunk of coins. Now, if you guys want to look it up online and Google it, you're going to want to Google 915 megahertz RF antenna. So now there's different what's called DBIs, right? We got a 3 dBi, 3.5, 8, 9. if you think as far as DBIs go, the higher the number, if you guys had a flashlight and you were to pull the end of it off, you know how it concentrates the beam, and it doesn't shine as wide, but it concentrates it and makes it super bright. That's what the DBI is referencing. So if you're at a 9 DBI, it's going to concentrate that and that signal and send it super far. Now, if you're at a lower DBI, it's going to kind of mushroom out and cover a wider area. So I'm still playing with it, trying to figure out what DBI is the best. I currently have, I believe it's an 8 DBI antenna, and it seems to be working really well. And I just have mine on a magnetic mount, and it's sitting on my windowsill currently. Now, I have intentions to mount it outside on my roof of my business, but I haven't done that yet. So I strongly suggest the antennas. How big is the antenna? The antenna I have is probably 2 or 3 feet or so. And I think someone just posted one here in the chat. Ben might have posted one in the chat. But yeah, do some research on the antennas. The one I purchased is from Rack Miner, and 8 dBi, 915 megahertz RF from Rack Miner. They do make a massive difference for sure.
Yeah, those the antennas I just put on there, those are some of that we've identified. I got a techie guy out in Denver, Zach Lauscher, who's killing it. And he did a bunch of research, and there's the 2 that he personally identified, and provides the places you can get them and stuff like that. So
great. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. All right, Bill Brady, go ahead and unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, I have. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you place these units out and you're telling the people they're going to get paid every month, who pays them? Me or the company?
Yeah, good question. The company does everything for you. So the guy at this pawn shop here, Michael Porter, there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can send them your link and have them create their free account, which is optimal. So it saves you the work. If they say, I don't feel like dealing with it, I don't want to mess with it. I have a doctor in Gainesville. She's going to host a miner for me, but I can't get her to log in and just create a free account. So what I did is I created an account for her. I clicked on my link and I put in all her information, her email address, first name, last name, so on and so forth. And I created an account. Now, then I log into my back office, and we can do a special training on this. But when you click on manage a miner or manage a hotspot, you can there's 2 drop-down menus. You can actually switch the ownership, or you can switch who the host is. So obviously you want the ownership to remain you, but then you can click host and it pulls up a drop-down menu, and then I click her name. And then the company will automatically send the 10% to her every 30 days.
Okay, and at the end of the year, that's a 1099 from the company?
Yes, but you're getting paid in crypto, not cash. So there is no 1099 necessarily. Now, once you, and I don't want to get too deep into this because the tax thing, I'm no expert, but you're not getting paid by iHub necessarily any form of cash. You're getting paid in crypto. Now, once you cash that crypto out, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. But I would talk to your tax lady. I don't want to get deep into that because I don't want to mislead anybody there. But you won't get a 1099 from iHub. No, you won't.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Michael.
Hey, Mitchell, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I want to hit back on Ben's point with the antennas. So I'm going to share my screen so you see if I can flip it. So this is my antenna that ours are linking up. And you can see that it's got to go, it's on the ground level, and it's got to go straight to trees. So straight in that direction is Mitchell's location, probably about 4 miles towards downtown. So even at the bottom level of a house structure, it's still going over trees, long distance to actually reach another location. And Mitchell's antenna is actually on the opposite side of the building, inside a structure where, so they say height is key. So I can only imagine with the 8 dBi antennas, how far they could reach if we actually go higher with them. So just for food for thought, that you don't actually have to have it super high to get a good signal, because me and Mitchell both have the same antenna and we're reaching at least 5 kilometers from each other.
Yeah, good stuff.
Just so you guys know.
Thanks, Mike. Any other questions? Go ahead and raise your hand and let's get them answered. I know you guys got some more questions. Once you reserve your unit, can you start recruiting? You don't even, yes. Yes. Now, you don't even have to reserve a unit to start recruiting. You don't ever have to even buy a unit to start recruiting. But yes, get on there and get your unit reserved ASAP, and you can start recruiting for sure.
Hey, Mitchell, if you could on your screen, go back to the Explorer and just show them up there in which part, just up there in Jacksonville. Show them some of the things that are going up in Jacksonville. I think this is powerful, guys. And I love that you don't see a bunch of devices around Mitchell and he's still making it, guys. And you start to see, where the major cities are. But, when I seen this first presentation a month ago, he showed his little dot, and then he went to, the Jacksonville area where there's been people have been buying devices for a while. And some of these people, it's amazing what some people in a major metropolitan area are actually earning right now.
Yeah. And I like to use Gainesville as an example, because if you guys are familiar with Florida, Gainesville is a college town where the Gators play. And look at this, Gainesville. Young college kids, they stay up to date on the whole crypto space. Look at this, how this is built out. Now, the red miners, you'll see that means they're offline for whatever reason. I would say the majority of the reason why some of these are offline is because they're brand new miners and they're just now coming online, and that's why they're not green yet. But within a few days, these will all be green. But if we just click on a couple miners here and view hotspot details, go down to rewards.
And also go to Vegas for fun, since we got some new people coming in Vegas here soon. Pretty exciting.
So this particular miner is making some college kid, $2,000 a month residually, just because he stays up to date in the crypto space. And as you can see, it's communicating with quite a bit of different with different towers. Let's see. 106. So, I mean, you guys can see the potential here. You get 6 or 7 miners, and they're all producing $2,000 and $3,000 a month. It's pretty impressive. Hey, do you know a name of any miners out in Vegas?
I don't. We're just signed up a couple people that are in the Vegas area, just literally in the last couple hours. And actually, I mean, yesterday I signed someone up where he's in LA, but he's putting in a box for his mom's place in Vegas too. There you can see it out there in the desert.
Yeah,
there
Vegas,
you go.
Look, I mean, that's
Wow.
incredible.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Let's just click on one.
So, I mean, they're out there, guys. That's the beauty. They're out there, but now because this affiliate program and, Mitchell, I mean, all I ever do is look at 424 guys.
So this
Killing it.
This is producing $6,360 every single month, completely passive. Now, this guy definitely has an antenna on his, guys, because I mean, he's really reaching out there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's impressive.
Now, hey, Mitchell,
Oh,
someone just asked about the saturation. Talk a little bit about the landlocked aspect of this over time that will happen in time.
Yeah, guys. So that's why I like to call it the race for real estate. So now is the time to lock it in, guys, because most of the places you'll see are not like here in Vegas, right? A lot of the country is wide open. I mean, Florida, since I've been involved, I mean, when I got involved, there was only a couple on the coast. I mean, this is insane. I mean, Michael knows because he's here in Florida. We've been looking at it a lot. This is getting built up so extremely fast, but still the real estate is available, guys. There's tons of room here. Now, the network will reward the established tower. And if, say, your neighbor comes in, it's going to reward the established tower first. But, however, if there are too many towers in the area, what it will do is the Helium network will split the reward. So for every time that you witness or challenge, and I don't know the exact equation how it works, but the Helium network will reward you with 1 coin. Now, if, say, you and your neighbor both put in towers at the same time, and you're connecting with other towers, what's going to end up happening is you're going to split that reward with your neighbor. Now, for the most part, when people are, especially when people are, wanting to build the network themselves and work on, making a good substantial residual income, I'm not going to go place my miner in the red zone of Michael or someone else here in Ocala. I'm going to do my homework and place it to where it strategically makes me the most money. So you don't typically have that problem. Once you get locked in, someone's not going to go buy $500 on a miner and then put it right next door to you, because they know that that's not going to be the best bet for them. They're not going to make the most amount of money. So they're going to look at that and strategically place it to where they're going to make the most. So once you lock in that real estate, I mean, you're pretty much keep kicking everybody else out. And in a month and a half, I've seen 30,000-ish miners come online. So now's the time to get as many of these things out as you possibly can and lock in the addresses for sure.
And there are some great questions I want you to look at. But guys, I keep it simple when I talk to people about the comp plan. Everybody you personally sign up, you're going to get a 10% back return. So if they get 100 coins, you're going to get 10. So you can go as wide as you want to infinity and sign as many people as you want up for free right now. Get them to pre-order. Once their number comes up, they'll be called and said, hey, we're ready to process your order and provision your device, and we'll have it sent out in some time here. But just sign up as many people as you can. And I've seen people in other companies with other things, other products, literally make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and millions with an opportunity like this. But there's never been one like this, because all those other opportunities, people had to keep buying the product the next month. They were wellness products. This is a device where we get paid residual. And this network, I mean, these guys had the idea 8 years ago. This network's being built out forever. And we don't even have time to even talk about the blockchain technology and everything else that's coming with this. I mean, Mitchell touched on it a little bit. It's really exciting, guys, of what's going on. It's a lot bigger. The People's Network, it is what it is, in a way it's a lot bigger than what you can even wrap your head around right now.
Hey, Mitchell, I got a question for you, or at least that's something I want you to show the team real quick. Go back to Gainesville, because somebody was asking about saturation. So and when you look at Helium Place, which is a map where you can put it and see the red zone and the green zone, if you get too many miners within a certain area, it will scale down your rewards. But Mitchell, I want you to go all the way to the right, and I want you to click the unit all the way out to the right, the green dot all the way out to the right. So that's a unit that's on the outside of that central hub right there. And so if you get a unit outside of a central hub and you get an antenna on it, you're actually going to be rewarded a high scale. And if you can view all the other units in there, I mean, the rewards are unbelievable, because you're not actually in the saturated market.
Boom! Look at that.
So, but
475.
Look at the network, how the networking is actually showing. So show them how the lines are actually reaching off the tower. I don't think, yeah, so perfect. So if you find a network that's being built, you can literally try to find a location right outside that spot, get a high antenna or some type of, place where you can install high and reach all those networks in there. You're better off than actually putting a network inside of there, because it's already saturated.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's incredible. Good stuff. Anybody else? Yeah, we talked about, we didn't go over the compensation plan very much today. And I don't want to dive too deep into that right now. But yeah, Ben touch base. It's 10%. You generate you generate 10% off of, you tell 100 people and they all have one miner and each miner is making 100. I mean, 10% of that's pretty incredible, but it's only 10% for your first 5. That percentage actually goes up and it caps out at like 25%. So it's pretty incredible and pretty powerful how powerful this thing is. You can make a ton of money very, very quickly, guys. It's just about getting these miners out.
And the thing is the time frame, guys. This is an opportunity. 3 months will fly by. Okay, we can look back at what life was like 3 months ago, and that's why if you chip away and just sign up new people, introduce this. Again, when your pre-order comes, you want to get a 6-pack, they'll let you do that. And they're working on additional manufacturers. But we're all in so early, believe it or not, even though there's 50,000 devices out there. This is huge as we continue to grow, because we also are available to sell these anywhere, to anyone in Canada, Europe, and Australia right now. And it's going to keep expanding from there.
Good points, man. Robert Keeler, go ahead and unmute yourself, buddy.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. I'm asking this for a friend. So I'm not sure if I understand, but he wants to know if we are waiting the 4 months, how do we get on your list for the 18,000 hotspots?
So you go ahead and you reserve the miner. Make sure you reserve the miner because they're going to go down that list in order of the reservations. So you log in, and on the left-hand side, you click reserve a hotspot, or I don't know if it says reserve miner or hotspot. I think it's hotspot. Reserve hotspot. You'll fill in your shipping address, your install address, and your name, phone number, email, and then they're going to contact you when they lock in that PO, which looks like it's going to be within the next couple of days. Another exciting thing, guys, for you all that are already on board already, is they're getting away from the provisioning. So you won't have to go in and list an address for every single miner that you purchase. So if you do reserve one and then they call you and they say, how many do you want? You can say 50, 100, 6, whatever, and they'll go ahead and ship them to you. You don't have to give them an address where you plan on installing every single miner. And some of y'all know, some of you don't, but you used to have to provide an address for every single place you plan on putting each one of these miners before they would even ship it. It's not like that anymore. They're going to ship them to you unprovisioned, and then you just type in the address in the where you manage your hotspots and plug it in. So that's it. That's how it works.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Bill Brady, go ahead, buddy.
Yes. In placing these units, are there any restrictions like military installations in or out of them, outside of them, municipalities?
I don't know about military installations. I don't see why it would be an issue. I would make sure I wouldn't just plug it in anywhere. I'd get permission to whoever owns the building or anything. I haven't had that question come up, but I don't think it's an issue. Like I said, it's a very secure network. We're not making anybody's network volatile or open to threats or security threats. So I can't imagine it'd be a problem, but I don't know.
I was just curious if there have been any restrictions on, in close proximity of, government facilities.
Well, I can tell you my office is, my miner is plugged in, I don't know, a couple 100 feet away from my county courthouse. And
Okay.
I haven't had any issues. Like I said, I have a doctor who agreed to plug one in at the hospital at Shands. And in order for her to get access to permission to do that, she had to touch base with her IT people and stuff, and everything got approved there. So I don't foresee it being an issue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Let me check the chat real quick before I call it a day. Do you pay when you reserve? No, it's absolutely 100% free to reserve it. It doesn't cost you a penny to sign up or reserve a miner. When they're available, they'll contact you, and at that point, they'll take payment. Okay, guys. Well, look, if you're not part of the H&T Network Builders page, go ahead and get on there. I have been raising my hand. Okay, I don't see you for whatever reason. So go ahead and unmute yourself. It's not showing on here, buddy.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, is that Carl?
No, this is Tommy Haas.
Oh, Tommy, nice to hear you, buddy. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, I got a question for you. Okay, so from what I'm understanding, this thing is going to have to plug directly into my router, right? With my Ethernet?
No, not necessarily. I suggest you do that when you first get it, because it will sync up to the blockchain much faster. You can just connect it directly to Wi-Fi and sit on your windowsill, but it's going to, from my experience, it's going to take like a month for it to connect to the blockchain.
Okay. Then once it's synced up, I can unhook it from the Ethernet and put it out towards the front of the building.
Yes, sir. You unplug it from Ethernet and put it on a windowsill and connect it to your Wi-Fi, and you're good to go. It just connecting to that blockchain, that initial like 12 hours, it's through Ethernet, it's very fast and efficient. Through Wi-Fi, for whatever reason, it takes forever, but it will operate off of Wi-Fi just fine. It's just that initial setup.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. I had another question. Now the antenna, is that hooked up into the tower, or does that take a separate plug or something?
The antenna, just like the stock antenna here, you can actually unscrew this here,
Right.
and the aftermarket antenna coax cable just screws right into there, and it comes with a long cable, and then you can put this anywhere. Mine's sitting on the ground actually in my office next to my window, and then the coax cable runs up, and then it plugs into the aftermarket antenna.
Okay. All right. Because I'm going to put this in my wife's business, and we are only like 2.5 miles from the Las Vegas Strip. So
Awesome. It looks
I
like
mean,
you're going to be set.
okay. All right. And as of right now, you're just taking reservations for the box, right?
That's correct. But like I said, it should be open here very, very soon. I'm hoping they locked in that PO tonight, but if not, he said by tomorrow. So they actually have a corporate call that starts at 9 o'clock here in about 9 minutes. So if you guys have the availability and you want to jump on the corporate call, I'd recommend that.
Okay. If not, I'm going to try and get a hold of Ben. I've been given Ben's number by my friend that introduced me to this whole concept, and I'm going to try and call him tomorrow and
All
get a
right.
whole rundown from him as well.
Sounds good. He'll take care of you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. What determines the price of the coin? We'll touch on that real quickly. Someone want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I got you, Mitchell.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, long story short, there's 5 million coins a month being used to build out the proof of coverage network. That's being split amongst all the miners that are currently online. So, 26,000 miners, which when I saw about a month and a half ago, you had 5 million being split that much. When there's 50,000, same thing. So when the halving comes in August, I think, is it August?
Correct.
I think it's August.
Yeah.
What happens, there's going to be half of that amount that's going to be available for rewards. So when a halving happens, that means that there's less supply out there, which will drive up the price of the actual value of the token. So Bitcoin back in 15 years ago, when you would get a Bitcoin, $100 a coin, nobody really cared because anybody and their mom get a Bitcoin. But as the years went on and the halvings took place, there was less supply per Bitcoin per block. So the reward of that Bitcoin became much more valuable. Now with this token, there's only a fixed amount of helium out there in the blockchain. There's like 223 million tokens. So they're not going to keep producing more and more for inflation or anything like that. But every 2 years, there'll be a halving. So it'll go from 5 million to 2.5 million to 1.25 million. All the way up to 40 years, there'll be halvings. And as the halvings happen, the value of the coins projected to go up as the halvings, there's less supply, more demand. So that's why it's so important right now to build out the proof of coverage, because the coins may only be worth, $13 to $20 where it's kind of fluctuating because of Bitcoin. But you look in 5 years from now where it's going to be when the network's built out and you have this huge IoT network built out through a decentralized network. I mean, there's only a fixed number of coins, and eventually the coins will be circulated as data is used across the network. So right now they're paying coins for proof of coverage. Then once the whole network's built out, which they say about, I think it's like 4 to 5 years, then they'll pay for data being used across the network. And that should be like a fixed number, but that's a long-term, you're looking at like 5 to 10 years before that actually happens.
Great illustration. Because guys, bottom line is what they're doing is they're following what Bitcoin did. Okay, with the halving and everything else, it's all of us are in such a great place, right, Michael?
Absolutely. Well, it's one of those things like, I kind of kid to note, like, it's one of those things you got to think about, not in the current present, like how has the internet evolved? So you got to kind of think in the future, is this something that could be scaled in the future? Anybody who has a network tower placed in their property from Verizon or Sprint, they don't own the network on their property. So this gives the ability to anybody to buy an electronic device, hook it up to their own internet, and be able to allow other people to use data across the Internet of Things, to be able to make money. And like I said, the first person to plant that object on their location owns that piece of the network. Now, you may get 100 tokens at $15 a token, but what if you hold 5 years, they're worth $200 a token? So it's kind of like one of those things. It's almost like a stock. You get in low, you hold on to it. And the thing about it, you're constantly getting more and more just for keeping it on. You're not having to buy high and then, buy low, then sell high, then buy. You don't have to do anything. Just let the accrual happen every month. And then, eventually when the network gets built out, it's proof of concept. And the thing about one thing too, everybody's kind of worried about not being able to get their miners. With COVID hitting, you can't go buy a new vehicle. You can't go by a lot of anything that takes chips. Chips are on back order everywhere. So everybody wants, there's probably over 100,000 units back ordered between all manufacturers. So when these units are able to be had, you're going to see exponential growth, I think, with the Helium blockchain. And we have double-digit growth in every month. So imagine when all these units are everybody's able to get, you won't be able to lock in your land as easy as you are now. So 3 months may seem like a long time, but compared to, next year or a year and a half when they have all the inventory, that's when I really think that the blockchain will see its true network built out. So.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to cut it off there because I want everyone to have the opportunity to get on the corporate call, which starts here in a couple minutes. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. I hope you got something out of it. If this is the first time you've heard about the iHub opportunity, please get back to the person that put you on this call. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Make sure you get on H&T Network Builders, and I will see you guys later. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Mitch.